Good day, everyone. Today, I will be presenting my individual assignment entitled A Study on Oriental Food Industry Holding Berhad, Performance and its Determinants. This study focused on Oriental Food Industry Holding Berhad, or as known as OFIH, using Return on Asset, which is ROA, as the measure of firm performance. OFIH is one of the Malaysian investment holding that is primarily involved in the food and beverage sector, which is production, marketing, and selling of snack food and confectionery. The company was established on 8 June 1996 under Company Act of 1965, and it was launched in Busan, Malaysia, second board in 2000, and later shift to main market in 2003. The product range is quite wide as it deal with the different types of snack food, such as waffle, biscuit, crackers, potato snack, bakery products. All are sold under the popular brands Supering, Jackers, Rota, Oriental, Fudo, Dilio, Jazz, and Futos. However, OFIH operate in a highly competitive industry and face rising operating costs and exposure to macroeconomic risks. These challenges raise concern about which factor most significantly influence the company financial performance. Based on the issue identified, this study proposed three hypotheses. First, internal factors significantly affect ROA. Second, external factors significantly affect ROA. And third, internal and external factors jointly affect ROA. To test these hypotheses, three research objectives are developed. First, to examine the effect of internal factor on ROA. Second, to analyze the impact of external factor on ROA. And third, to investigate whether the combined factors provide a better explanation of firm performance. These objectives lead to three research questions that guide the empirical analysis of this study, which is, does internal factor affect performance of determine the factor that affect company performance Oriental Food Industry Holding Berhad? Second, does external factors affect performance of determine the factor that affect company performance OFIH? And third, does internal and external factor affect performance of determine the factor that affect company performance? This study measures firm performance using ROA. ROA reflects how efficiently a firm uses its asset to generate profit. Therefore, ROA is adopted in these studies as a reliable indicator of firm performance. Based on past study, internal factors are measured using financial ratio. Liquidity risk is represented by the current ratio and ACP. Credit risk is measured using the debt to income ratio, while operational risk is captured by the operating ratio. Corporate governance quality is measured by using a corporate governance index. In addition, external factors such as inflation rate, exchange rate, industrial production rate, and domestic demand are included. These macroeconomic variables are commonly found to influence firm profitability through cost, pricing, and demand conditions. This study focused on Oriental Food Industry Holding Berhad over a 10-year period from 2015 to 2024, resulting in 10 observations. Data were collected from the company annual report and official statistical sources. ROA is used as the dependent variable. Internal and external factors are included as independent variables. Ordinary least squares multiple regression analysis is applied using SPSS. Three models are tested. Model 1 include internal factor, Model 2 include external factor, and Model 3 combine both. The descriptive statistic shows that OFIH record an average ROA of 14.05%. Liquidity indicators and the average collection period shows high variability, indicating fluctuations in cash flow management. The operating ratio suggests that the company faced significant cost pressure during the study period. The slide presents the correlation analysis result. The findings show that the operating ratio has a strong negative correlation with ROA, indicating that higher operating costs are associated with lower profitability. Debt to income also show a negative relationship with ROA, suggesting that higher leverage may negatively affect firm performance. However, the current ratio show a weak and statistically insignificant correlation with ROA, indicating limited impact of liquidity on profitability during the study period. The ANOVA test is used to examine whether the regression model is statistically significant as a whole. For model 3, the p-value is 0.169, which is higher than the conventional 5% significant level. This indicates that the model is not statistically significant at the 5% level. However, given the small sample size of 10 observations, the model is considered acceptable at an exploratory level and provide useful insight into the relationship between internal and external factor and firm performance. This slide presents the model summary result. Model 1, which include only internal factors, record an adjusted R-square of 0.495, indicating that internal variable explain about 49.5% of the variation in ROA. Model 2, which is include only external factors, it has a negative adjusted R-square of negative 0.671, suggesting that macroeconomic variable alone do not explain ROA effectively. Model 3, which combine both internal and external factor, record the highest adjusted R-square of 0.946. This indicates that the Model 3 has the stronger explanatory power in explaining the performance of OFIH. This slide presents the coefficient result based on Model 3. Among all variables tested, the operating ratio is the only variable that shows statistically significant, with a negative coefficient. This indicates that higher operating costs relate to revenue significantly reduce ROA. Other variables such as liquidity, credit risk, corporate governance, and macroeconomy indicators are not statistically significant in this model. Overall result highlight that operational efficiency is the most important determinant of OFIH financial performance during the study period. In conclusion, the findings show that internal factors have a stronger influence on ROA compared to external factors. Among all variables tested, the operating ratio is identified as the key determinant of OFIH financial performance. The combined model, which include both internal and external factors, provide the stronger explanatory power in explaining firm performance. Based on this finding, OFIH should focus on improving cost efficiency and strengthen operational control to enhance profitability. For future research, a larger sample size and the inclusions of more firms or longer time period are recommended to improve the robustness of the result. That's all from me. Thank you. That's